going to move on to college football. The firing of Les Miles. Lentz is going to give us a couple of his thoughts.
All right. So as everybody knows, Les Miles was fired on his day off on Sunday.
Come on, Craig.
This past Sunday.
Come on, Craig.
So he was fired this Sunday as the LSU Tigers head coach. And it was after a 2-2 start. It's kind of after a controversial loss that just happened against Auburn Tigers. And it begs the question, was it a good firing? Was it bad? Was it justified because of the way they lost? But it wasn't, in my eyes. I mean, he's been there 12 years now, been there since 2005. And they had already planned on firing him this offseason, which they should have. They should have fired him this offseason. I'm not a fan of firing coaches in the middle of the season because, yeah, you're trying to get rid of that coach, but what does that team do now? What direction does that team do now? Because all you do is fire the head coach. Everybody else that's there stays. Well, the offensive coordinator, Cam Cameron, was fired too, but everyone else is there. The players are still there. The strength and conditioning coach, linebackers coach, every position coach that they have, they're still there. So you really don't change your direction. Just let them finish out the season. Now, my issue with this, I think this firing was long overdue. If you look at the discrepancy of talent versus production under his tenure, it doesn't add up. It really doesn't. So if you look at every year he's been there since 2005, he's been in the top 10. I think the lowest he's ever been was 21st, and that was in like 2010, and that was preseason rankings. And, of course, he's been to 2 championships. He went in 2007 where he won, and then he lost in 2011 where he lost to Alabama. It's BS, no 2 SEC teams in the championship, but whatever. So I feel like
wasn't that a rematch
for me?
Yeah, it was.
They played each other twice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they lost the second one, right?
Yeah, they lost the second one. They beat him the first time, and they lost the second time in the championship, 21-0.
Damn, Honey Badger didn't show up. What? Wasn't that just how, like, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, it was. He was suspended, I want to say.
Was he?
I think he was suspended. But
that could have been a difference.
Nah.
Why you automatically blame it on the Honey Badger anyway?
Because he was the man.
I love the Honey Badger. All right, then.
But yeah,
off topic.
Well, you couldn't blame it on the quarterback because they ain't have. All right, go ahead.
they ain't never had a quarterback.
They ain't never had.
Wasn't that who was the
Jamarcus Russell?
That was Jordan Jefferson. Yeah. That was Jamar. That was that wasn't Russell. That was Jordan Jefferson.
What year was that?
2011.
Quarterbacks.
Okay,
2011
yeah. Okay, you're right. Okay, you're right.
Yeah, Jamarcus didn't get him that far at all.
Oh no, I was just naming great quarterbacks from LSU: Jamarcus Russell, Zach Madden,
Matt Flynn,
the greats, right?
Yeah,
Ryan Perrilloux. Yeah,
Zach
But what's crazy about it is all those quarterbacks were top quarterbacks in the nation that every team was going after. So it's not like they were getting scrubs. Mm-hmm. They were getting top recruits. But if you look at his career arc at LSU, when he first got there, he was winning with Saban's players. Like, let's be real about it. He lost 2 games a year with those players. He got there in 2005. Saban left in 2004. For that 3-year arc, he was winning 11 and 12 games, losing 2 games a year. And then after those players, of course, he won the championship. After those years, he had a drop-off, and then he came back up in 2010 until 2013. He was winning 10 and 13 games a season. And then, of course, since then, it's been downhill. And I really feel like he got fired because he couldn't beat Alabama. That was the main reason why he got fired. But
everybody gets fired now.
Yeah, exactly. I don't feel like you can hold that against him. Alabama's been running the country since Saban's been there. So, well, at least since 2009. So I think it was a bad firing from the standpoint of they shouldn't have fired him in the middle of the season. I mean, you're 4 games in. You've only lost 2 games, and your 2 losses were both close losses. One was to Wisconsin, the first game of the year, in what was essentially a home game for Wisconsin because it was at Lambeau Field. I mean, and you still took them to the wire, and then this game that got taken to the wire against Auburn. So you got fired for losing 2 close games. So it's to me, it was a bad firing this early. You either wait till the end of the year, or you should have fired him in the offseason like you planned on it. That's my take on it.
I think everybody has the same consensus about Les Miles. The firing was coming. LSU handled it poorly by doing it in the 3 games, 4 games in the season.
4 games.
4 games in the season. It's a horrible timing to do it. Like you said, they're still going to finish the season with the same coaching staff, the same direction. The offense might put in a couple wrinkles, but it's pretty much the same team. He should have been fired in the offseason. I'm done talking about that. Everybody knows that that's the deal with Les Miles. His time is over. He stayed too long. He needs to go. My real question is, where does he go next? I mean, there's been speculation about Art Briles and where he's going to be coaching next. Is there going to be the same type of speculation about Les Miles? Is he damaged goods, or do you think that he can still be an effective coach somewhere? I'm asking you guys this now.
Well,
go ahead.
I don't profess to know much about college football. It appeared that he didn't have problems recruiting. It doesn't appear that was the issue. The issue was transferring that talent to the field, and that's more on coaching. I don't think he's a bad coach by any means, but what all coaches are supposed to do are get the most out of their players. And speaking to LRL's point about him being fired mid-season, I don't disagree with that. And I agree that at some point it was time for him to go. But I think I would hope that they weren't short-sighted to say we're going to fire him because of 2 close losses in the beginning of the season. I really think it just got down to the offensive inefficiency or impotence, which is probably a better word for that offense, impotence of his team. Again, it does not make any sense for you to recruit all of this talent. And just think of the players that he got to the NFL just recently. He can get talent down there. That's not the issue. The issue is him coaching it up to especially on offense, to create an efficient offense on the field. And really, it's just the quarterback position. Like Jamarcus Russell wasn't a bad college quarterback. Ron Perrilloux flamed.
He wasn't great.
No. He certainly wasn't great. I'm certainly not professing that he's great, but he wasn't bad. Zach Mettenberger wasn't bad, but it seems
yes, he was. Yes, he was. Zach Mettenberger was terrible.
Yeah, he was bad.
He has a certain archetype of quarterback that he looks for, which is the big, strong arm. I don't want to say statuesque, but not necessarily mobile quarterbacks. And that's kind of I remember Perrilloux being mobile, if I'm not mistaken. Perrilloux had a bit of mobility, but he has that archetype, and he doesn't often stray from that. So he overlooks the accuracy issues, the touch issues, the things like that. And it's hard to craft an offense around that, especially around college wide receivers. Their routes aren't as polished. They don't run the entire route tree. So it's difficult to have an efficient offense, especially in today's college football, if you can't pass the ball. So in my mind, I will hope that the firing wasn't short-sighted just because of the 2 losses, but more because the offense was just more the same. They're really just building, they're really just running Fournette into the ground and ruining his NFL career, with all of that, all of the extra running that he does. But I think I would hope that it's more because of the passing game.
And it was more about development for him because he got the talent there in LSU, which isn't hard because LSU, where it's at in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, right there next to Texas, like that's a hotbed. You should be able to throw a rock and bring in talent out of there. But it was more of the development. Like you said, all the quarterbacks that he's had, and none of them have developed. They've all come in 4 or 5 stars, which I will address that. I'll admit that quarterback is the hardest position to develop, but at the same time, you're bringing in all these 4- and 5-star recruits, and you're not developing them. You have Odell Beckham Jr., you have Russell Shepard, you have Jarvis Landry on the same team. On the same team.
That's crazy.
You still can't move the ball on offense. No, you had Alfred Blue, and you still had Spencer Ware and Jeremy Hill in the backfield on the same time. And
That's crazy.
Still don't have an offense.
That's crazy.
So that's my issue. That's why he got fired, because I think one of the big straws was Odell Beckham. Like, he was good in college. You know, he was good, but he never had huge numbers. But then his first year in the NFL, he's already a top 5 receiver. His second year in the NFL, he's a top 3 receiver. Well. Jarvis Landry, the same. People like, oh well, he's not really that good. Yeah, he is. He's just not fast. So it's all that you see coming out. You see the Patrick Petersons coming out, lighting it up. You see the Tyrann Matthews coming in, lighting it up. The La'el Collins coming in, lighting it up. You have all this talent coming out of LSU, but they're not winning. And when you're at the top schools, the Alabamas, the Texas, the Oklahoma, the USCs, you're supposed to win championships. That's what they're looking for. Now, if it was a regular school, if it was a North Carolina, a Texas A&M, a Oklahoma State, a Stanford, and he was winning 8-9 games, that would be fine. But not at a LSU. They expect championships there. And his tie to Cameron and not firing him was what ended up getting him fired. Because had he let go of his offensive coordinator, who was running that same ground and pound, that as AJT likes to call it, the archaic offense, the 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Like, if he would have stopped running that and did a more wide open offense, he would still be coaching right now. Because if you look at what Nick Saban did, everyone says Nick Saban's stubborn. He's never going to change. But he realized after Cam Newton lit him up, after Sergio Garcia lit him up, after Johnny Manziel lit him up, after all these mediocre, except Cam Newton, all these mediocre quarterbacks who were able to run, the Chad Kellys of the world, were able to light his defense up. He was like, okay, I need to switch it up. So he has Hurts, who's a mobile quarterback who can throw. He adapted to what the landscape was in the NFL. Remember, a couple years ago, he was complaining about Chip Kelly and his offense. But now he's running the same thing, and he brought Lane Kiffin over to run it because you have to adjust. And that was Les Miles' issue. He wouldn't adjust. And him not.
Cool.
All right.
Well, that's a great way for that to happen.
Well, I had something to say. About that anyway. Listen, I just don't understand. And this will speak to your point a bit, P. Where does he go next? Because I mean, you got to think. His name is a prominent name in college football. I don't think he's going to have a problem getting another job. But the next athletic director, like, what are they gonna ask of him at that point? Like, are they just gonna give him the keys, or are they gonna have him like, yo, you got to run a modern offense? I mean, it depends. Like, what are some landing spots for him?
I don't think he's going to end up. I think he's definitely obviously done in the SEC. He don't have a chance to get no SEC job unless it's like Kentucky or something. But I think with him being a Michigan alum and an Ohio native, I can see him going back to that area. As much as I hate to say it because I love him, there's a really good chance Tommy Tuberville gets fired in Cincinnati, and that's a program that could stand for a guy with a name. I could see him staying like in someplace in Ohio where he's from. Like I said, Cincinnati. Bowling Green had a name a couple of years ago. Miami University is another one that has been quiet since Big Ben pretty much graduated. That's a team that's been in and out. Some team that could stand for his overall coaching ability just to be a player in their division, even if he's not put on NFL prospects. On that note, I did want to say just one thing about the NFL prospects. You could literally put together an NFL roster with guys who not just played at LSU, but guys who underperformed in college compared to their NFL careers just from his tenure there. Like, you could literally probably get 53 guys on both sides of the ball that have played at LSU and done better in the NFL. You probably wouldn't have a quarterback, but every other position, you'd have guys that he coached and didn't coach well. It's really surprising to me, not surprising, but it's interesting to me when Cam Cameron was the offensive coordinator in San Diego, which is, I think, where he first got his name. He was looked at as this offensive genius because they put up so many points in so many different ways, and he hasn't done anything since then. I think he's really still living off the hype from those couple of years he was in San Diego. And I wonder.
I think Cam Cameron got a raw deal.
Why do you say that?
I honestly believe that the way that Les Miles runs his team, Cam Cameron was handcuffed. He was handcuffed in in Baton Rouge, and I think that it kind of sucks for him because he's going to be coupled with Les Miles. But I think he has a better chance of getting another job than Les Miles does. Look at his
resume. Like, his resume out of San Diego has not been good. He got fired after 1 year in Miami. He didn't last a full year in Baltimore. Actually, the year he got fired, they went to the Super Bowl. So he's been bounced around and looking bad since he left San Diego. I mean, yeah, he may have gotten the short end of the stick going to LSU, but it ain't like
I'm saying he can spin that. He can always spin that. He can always spin that Les Miles was the head guy. Like, even all of us, all the different views that we've given on it, we're blaming Les Miles for coaching these players. As the head coach, his job is to put together a team, and his staff is supposed to execute what he wants to do to a certain degree. He's not getting his coaches to coach the players up. The thing about it really is that it's not that he's a horrible coach at coaching the game. He's not good at coaching other coaches. He's not getting his coaches to bring the he wants using his style. I think that with him, he's looking at either having to go to a much smaller program as a head coach or having to revert back to more of a recruiting coordinator position somewhere, because he obviously cannot build a staff that is going to give him the results that he wants. That's the thing that you have to think about when you think about Nick Saban, Bill Belichick. The best coaches have a great coaching tree underneath them. When you think Les Miles, do you think about who's underneath him? No, you just think the Mad Hatter is messing things up. That's all you can think, because you don't know, because there's no proven record of him having a coaching staff that can be efficient and produce the results that he wants. All these other coaches are doing a great job of making sure that the coaches underneath them are doing what they need to do. We're saying that nobody from LSU is producing at LSU, but they're doing great in college. Yeah, but Les Miles isn't a receivers coach. He isn't a quarterbacks coach. He's the head coach. Yet his teams aren't winning, but his players are good. You could put it all on the head coach if you want to, but it takes more than just a head coach to develop players.
I got two thoughts on that. First thought, I don't see him coaching again, simply because look at his age. He's 62. I mean, that's old. 62, and he hasn't changed how he's going to run his offense, how he's going to run his teams. Once you hit that age, you're not changing. Secondly, he's definitely not going to get a big-time coaching gig right off the bat. Like, one of these big schools aren't going to sign him. And then these smaller schools, do you think they're going to have the money it's going to take to pull in on Les Miles? Unless he takes a significant pay cut, they're going to have to pony up, because he's still one of the top 10 coaches in the game. Like, in college.
Yeah, he gets a buyout too.
Yeah, and he gets that buyout. So unless he takes a pay cut, he's not gonna go anywhere. And then if you're telling him to take a lesser role, I feel like he's a decent recruiter, but his main sticking point was, you're LSU. You're going to LSU. You're staying in Louisiana. You're right here next to Texas. You're right here next to Florida. You're right here next to Georgia. If he goes to Cincinnati, as Allen suggested, he's not going to have that calling card. He's not going to have that pool. He's still going to be the guy who went to Michigan and who's an Ohio native, but he's an Ohio guy, but they're thinking he left us. He went to Michigan. So why should we listen to him? So I don't see him coaching again, at least not next year. Somebody might take a flyer on him who has the money to pony it up. But I guess if Bobby Petrino can get back into coaching, anybody can at this point.
That's the truth.
But and then on the next point, as far as coaching, you named all these Bill Belichick and Nick Saban. None of their understudies, their coaching tree has done anything. You look at Rex Ryan. What has he done? Nothing. You look at Romeo Cornell, Bill O'Brien, Eric Mangini.
I'm not saying create head coaches. I'm saying have coaches while they're underneath you. Help and you.
Okay.
I'm saying when they have coaches underneath them, they're successful. Now, when those coaches go elsewhere, again, being a head coach is different. Or a position coach, and that's more of a you have to figure that out yourself. It's hard to teach someone how to be a head coach, but it's easy to teach. Well, I'm not saying easy, but I'm thinking more of Nick Saban. His coaching staff gets what he wants done out of his players. Same thing with Belichick, but Les Miles, you know what Les Miles wants to do. He wants to line up, run the ball, play good defense. Okay, that's what he wants to do. How do I get my players to do that? If my players aren't doing that, I'm not living up to what the head coach wants. And you can't just blame the head coach over and over because he's bringing in the talent, like you said. Obviously, there's a miscommunication. There's a disconnect between the player to the head coach, and that's the position or coordinator.
I agree, but you got to remember he's a defensive coach.
I agree.
So his defenses have been fine.
So his defenses have been fine.
His defense
have been fine up to this point. Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying. Though. A good head coach
have been fine up to this point.
A good head coach knows what he's good at.
My computer just restarted on me because of these dang updates. But what I was saying is his defenses have been fine up until this point. He hasn't had any offense.
If he doesn't have any offense, he has to have the knowledge, the whereabouts, the thoughtfulness to hire a Lane Kiffin type guy, a Josh Daniels type guy, somebody that can actually run the offense. He's hiring guys and then micromanaging them, and they're not being successful. Or he's hiring the wrong guys offensively.
Yeah.
That's
either
up to him. And
either way, it falls on him.
And we said it. He's not a competent. Yeah, he's not a competent head coach. I'm just saying I want to be more of that as a head coach. He's not doing the right job, but I don't think the player development of all these players is all on him. When we're naming all these offensive players, he's a defensive-minded coach. So, of course, when Odell Beckham was there, Jarvis Landry was there, he wasn't going and talking to them.
Yeah, but if the guys you hire aren't good, right, or aren't producing,
that's my point. That is my point exactly.
But the thing about that is,
I just don't blame
your ability to recruit talent. Like if you can't identify good assistant coaches, you're not going to be able to develop that talent. If you're the only person who's coaching on your staff that actually knows what the hell is going on, your team's not going to be so successful because you can't be with every player at all times. Exactly. So you've got to be able to get assistant coaches in to know what's going on. If he can't do that, then that's on him as a head coach.
I think that as a head coach, he's incompetent, like we said. And the thing about it is there anywhere for him to go as a head coach? No, because he's proven that he can't develop a coaching staff underneath him. More than him developing actual players, I think he can't develop a coaching staff underneath him to get what they want out of their players in the short time in LSU.
I still think he has a chance in a lower level school, a school that doesn't have national championship expectations every season. He's shown to be a good enough coach with what he's gotten that he'll probably be desired somewhere, but not.
You think Power 5?
No. No.
Small school in Power 5?
Yeah, I would say small school. I think he's got too much prestige to go to a bottom dweller in a Power 5. Could you imagine him taking a job at Kentucky?
No.
Yeah?
No.
Why not? He ain't gonna get no other offers.
Simply because you got to think at this point he has to think about legacy. If he goes to Kentucky, he's going to get his butt kicked in the SEC every year. Right now, if you look at his career numbers, he's been a great coach. He's been great. But I mean, if you look at his numbers while he was at LSU, it was what 75% winning percentage throughout his career at LSU. He goes to Kentucky, he gets smacked up every year. That's a basketball school. No football player is trying to go there.
All right.
But I mean, if he wants to coach, that's what he's gonna have to do. And I'm not sure if he wants to coach or not, but I just don't see someone giving him a chance.
Yeah, I think retirement is probably the best thing for that guy.
I'd love to see him on TV. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, an announcer, that would be awesome, or an analyst, or whatever they want to call these people, experts now.
Right.
They're not experts.
Everybody's
an
expert. How do you? Everybody's an expert.
How you an expert at guessing who's going to get the most yards and points that year, that game?
Oh my God! I did see it. Never mind. I won't digress. Never mind.